Chapter 29, the Edda. We can consider the German Edda as the Germanic Bible. This archaic book contains the occult knowledge of the Nordic races. The stories of the Edda about the genesis of the world are as follows. In the beginning, there were only two regions, one of fire and light, where the absolute and eternal being, Alfadir, ruled, and the other a region of darkness and cold, called Niflheim, ruled by Asert, the darkness. Between one region and the other there was chaos. The sparks that escaped from Alfadir fertilized the cold vapors of Niflheim, and Weor, father of the race of giants, was born. To nourish him, and in the same manner, the cow Odomla was created, from whose udder flowed the 4 rivers of milk. Satiated, Ymir fell asleep, and from the sweat of his hands a giant couple was born, male and female, and from one of his feet a monster with 6 heads. In the genesis of creation we have sexual alchemy. The fire fecundated the cold waters of chaos. The masculine principle, Alfadir, fecundated the feminine principle, Niflheim, dominated by Sut, the darkness, to bring forth life. That is how Ymir is born, the father of the giants, the internal god of every man, the master. He is nourished with the materia prima of the great work. This substance is the milk of the cow Odumla, the sacred white cow of India. In the Genesis of Moses, the 4 rivers of Eden are mentioned. The 4 rivers of milk. These 4 are the flaming fire, the pure water of life, the impetuous air, and the perfumed elemental earth of the sages, the 4 tattvas. In every alchemical operation, the 4 elements come into activity. These cannot be absent from the sexual alchemy of creation. Ymir sleeps, and from his sweat a giant couple is born, male and female, and the sublime and giant primitive divine hermaphrodite of the sacred island. In the Genesis of Moses, Adam sleeps, Arid God takes, and God takes Eve from one of his ribs. Before this moment, Eve was within Adam and was Adam himself. She was a hermaphrodite. From the feet of this giant hermaphrodite, the polar race, the 6-headed monster was born, the Star of Solomon, the sexual alchemy of the human being, which through many centuries ends in the separation of division of the giants, transforming them into human beings of separate sexes. The division into opposite sexes is the beginning of the great tragedy. From the hermaphroditic giant, the 6-headed monster is born. The human being will again be a divine hermaphrodite. Man will return to Eden, accompanied by his divine Eve, or Eve. When man and woman are sexually united, in those moments they are a single hermaphroditic being. In fact, in those moments of supreme sexual voluptuousness, we are gods. This is the supreme moment which the initiate knows how to use for his or her magical phenomena. The birth of the being in separate sexes was a grandiose event of anthropogenesis, which was realized over many millions of years. After having given a marvelous description of the creation of the world, the Germanic Edda relate the separation into opposite sexes as follows. Immediately, the gods decided to create the first human pair. The man was formed from an ash tree, and they called him Ask. The woman was formed from an alder, and they called her Embla. Odin gave them the soul. Vili gave them understanding. Ve gave them beauty and the senses. And the gods, satisfied with their work, retired to rest and to enjoy themselves in their mansion at Asgard, located in the center of the universe. The story of the Edda regarding the destruction of the world is the Germanic apocalypse. Nature itself starts to become disordered. The seasons cease to alternate. The terrible Fimhulvater, dominates and lasts for 3 years. Because the sun has lost its strength, there is no faith among men, peace between brothers, relatives, and children of the same tribe is not observed. The sacred duty of the Germans to respect the dead, of cutting their nails and burying them, is neglected. At the consummation of the centuries, Hrimur, the frost giant, and his innumerable companions have to embark on a colossal ship in order to destroy the gods and their happy and resplendent abode Valhalla and the universe. This terrible reproachful ship, which is made only of the nails of the dead, never cut by any merciful soul, advances and grows in spite of the smallness of the material until the corruption reaches its limit. Then the monsters whom the gods had managed to enchain break the chains which bind them. The mountains sink, the jungles are uprooted, the wolves who since the beginning of the world have howled at the sun and moon, trying to devour these two stars, and who have sometimes almost had them within their claws, now reach them and consume them once and for all. The wolf Fenrir breaks his bonds and assails the world with open jaws, reaching the sky with one jaw and the earth with the other, and would open them even wider, but there is no space. The serpent of Midgard floods all the earth because man has become a fornicator. The frost giants come from Levant in their ship of nails. At high noon, the powers of the destructive fire draw nearer. Loki, the Surda, and the sons of Muspelheim come to fight the final decisive battle of the Ashes. The divinities of Valhalla prepare to receive the enemy. Their watchman, Heimdall, posted at the entrance to the bridge that leads to their dwelling, sounds the clarion, and the gods, in union with the souls of the heroes who have died in battle, go out to receive the giants. The battle begins and ends with the destruction of both armies. With the death of the gods and the giants, the incandescence of those of the fire spreads over the world, so that all is consumed in an immense, purifying holocaust. A profound analysis of the genesis and apocalypse of the Edda shows us that the key point, in one as well as in the other, the sexual question, or rather is the sexual question. The world is created sexually. The primitive hermaphrodite is divided sexually. He is a god when he does not spill the semen. He becomes a demon when he spills the semen. The world is created sexually, and this world is destroyed when human beings become terrible fornicators, when the great whore has reached the limit of corruption, when the serpent of Midgard floods the entire earth. In fact, when a Huntan being becomes... You know what? I think they meant to say human. I think they meant to write that. When that being becomes accustomed to spilling the semen, then the great whore is born, whose number is 666. Fornication corrupts the human being. Through fornication, the human being becomes terribly perverse, and then the world is destroyed. The unknown monsters of nature Elements about which man does not know, and which the gods have enchained, are unleashed with atomic weapons. The jungles are uprooted, the wolves of karma howl terribly. The wolf Fenrir breaks his bonds and attacks the world with open mouth, touching the sky and the earth with his jaws. The karma is terrible, and there will be a collision of worlds. In archaic times, there has already been a similar collision, and the earth, which was closer to the sun than it is now, was hurled to its present distance. Now this cataclysm will be repeated due to the law of karma. Then, as stated in the Germanic Edda, everything will be consumed in an immense purifying holocaust. There cannot be any Genesis without sexual alchemy. There cannot be any apocalypse without sexual degeneration. Every Genesis and every apocalypse is based on the phallus and the uterus. The fire creates and the fire destroys. The powers of the destructive fire are already on the march. Atomic wars will definitely unleash these powers that will consume the earth. This race will soon be destroyed by fire. The hour has come to comprehend the necessity to enter fully the path of the perfect matrimony. Only those who resolve to follow this path can save themselves from the abyss and the second death. God shines upon the perfect couple. Human salvation. In the name of truth, we have to recognize that the problem of human salvation is a true Chinese puzzle, very difficult to resolve. Jesus emphasizes the tremendous difficulty of entering the kingdom of esotericism and attaining eternal salvation. It is urgent to fabricate soul if we really want to save ourselves. We have already said the human being only has incarnated an embryo of soul. We have also said that we need to strengthen this embryo and later incarnate the cosmic soul. Now it is good to clarify that to incarnate the soul signifies at heart to be assimilated, devoured by the tiger of wisdom. We need the tiger of wisdom to devour us. This tiger is the intimus, our real being. The Aztecs say that the first race that exited in the world was devoured by tigers. In Yucca, or Yucatan, there existed the Temple of the Tigers. Quetzalcoatl, with his tiger claws, traps the human heart. The tiger cult was never absent in any of the mystery temples of America. The Order of the Tiger Knights was very sacred in Aztec Mexico. It is interesting to remember that during human sacrifice, the hearts of maidens were offered to the gods. All this contains an esoteric meaning, which the erudite ignoramuses of this century do not understand. It is clear that we do not approve of human sacrifice. These sacrifices were barbaric. Millions of children and maidens were sacrificed to the gods. These were horrific scenes of pain, abominable. We are only reflecting, however, upon the fact of offering the bleeding heart to the gods. This fact is tremendous. The intimus needs to swallow the heart of man, that is to say, to assimilate it, absorb it, devour the human personality that has fabricated that which is called soul. It is truly the case that the intimus is like a tree with many leaves. Each leaf is a human personality. The intimus does not have one single personality, as pseudo-esotericists believe. The intimus has various personalities, and what is most astounding is that he can have them incarnated in different parts of the world. When a human being, or rather a human person, does not fabricate soul, it is logical that he or she is lost and descends into the abyss. But this is not important to the intimus. This is like a leaf that falls from the tree of life, one leaf without any importance. The intimus continues attending to the other personalities, struggling so that they may fabricate soul, so as to devour them as the tiger of wisdom. Therefore, the human person, the intellectual animal called man, is worthless, or is rather worth less than the ash of a cigarette. But the fools feel themselves to be giants. Unfortunately, in all the pseudo-esoteric currents, there abound mythomaniacs, individuals who feel themselves to be masters, and enjoy it when others call them masters, individuals who believe themselves to be gods, individuals who presume to be saints. If only one who is truly great, the only one who is truly great is the spirit, the intimus. We, the intellectual animals, are leaves that the wind tosses about, leaves of the tree of life, that is all. Quote, man is a hybrid mixture of plant and ghost, a poor shadow that can only achieve immortality if it fabricates that which is called soul. End quote. Humanity has failed. Most of humanity, almost all, still do not have soul. The great majority of humans are dead leaves, which the hurricane of fatality drags to the abyss, leaves fallen from the tree of life. The wolf Fenrir breaks his terrible bonds, as the Germanic Edda says. Karma falls upon the whole of humanity. The divinities of Valhalla will fight the enemy. The serpent of Midgard floods the entire earth, and the world is a failure. Germanic mythology is Nordic. The knowledge comes from the north. The first race was devoured by the tigers of wisdom. It was an immortal race. The second race was swept away by strong hurricanes. The third race was converted into birds. The fourth into fishmen. The fifth into he-goats. The cradle of humanity is in the north. The Germanic Edda is Nordic wisdom. The ancestors of the Aztecs lived on the second island of the north. The occult wisdom came from the north to Lemuria. From the Lemuria, it passed to Atlantis. After the Atlantis submersion, the wisdom remained in those lands that formed part of the Atlantean continent. India never formed part of the Atlantean continent. It is absurd to think that all ancient wisdom is in India. If we want to find the wisdom of the serpent, we shall find it in Mexico, Egypt, Yucatan, etc. These countries really formed part of Atlantis. It is urgent to study the Germanic Edda to know how to read between the lines, and then to investigate Easter Island, Mexico, Yucatan, etc. The Germanic Edda, with its Genesis and Apocalypse, is pure sexual magic. The root of our being is found in sex. We need the serpent to devour us. We need to be devoured by the tiger. First the serpent devours us, and then the tiger. And as a reminder, this can be some of the specific characters of these mythologies, and the symbology can be hard to remember, but the serpent is Aztec, the tiger is Germanic, it's from the Nordic mythologies. This is Gnosticism, so we study all the traditions.